And
I've
sorry to
started.
bother.
So, welcome each and everyone. Today we will read from Canto number 3, chapter number 3, text number 16. Evam sanchintya bhagavan swarajye sthapya dharmajam nandayam asas suhrada sadhunam vartmadharshayan. Translation. Somebody wants to read the translation? By His Divine
Yes,
Grace,
Prabhu.
A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Lord Sri Krishna, thus thinking to himself, established Maharaj Yudhishthir in the position of supreme control of the world in order to show the ideal of administration on the path of piety. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So, in this verse, Krishna knows how his pastimes have to come to a close. But before that, he wants to ensure that Dharma is always reigning across his creation. And Krishna can do this by sitting in Vaikuntha or Goloka Loka himself. He doesn't need to come down, he doesn't need to perform these pastimes. However, he does that only for increasing the bliss in the hearts of the devotees. And he is always seeking to give the glorification to his devotees. So while Krishna's administration is very perfect, in order for the control of the world and to showcase how ideal administration should be performed, he wanted to keep Yudhishthira on the throne. Because Yudhishthira was known as Dharmaraj, and Dharmaraj means one who will follow always in the footsteps of Dharma. Sometimes he is also known as Ajata Shatru, the one who had very limited or no enemies. So, Dharmaraj Yudhishthir will always walk on the path of piety, pious or spiritual angle. So, Krishna wanted to keep him as the emperor of the whole world. And how did Krishna come to this decision? Did Krishna create a ballot? Did Krishna create a democratic election? Was a monocratic administrative order? None of these. This verse mentions very clearly how Krishna came to this decision. It is said sanchintya, which means thinking within himself. It was his own will. When a person thinks within himself and takes a decision, that is his will. So, Krishna's supreme will, which is very important, my dear devotees. We all have our own wishes, our own free will, but the whole world works on the will of the Lord. And we have a free will amongst ourselves to either comply or to negate the will of the Lord. So, for example, it is the will of the Lord to make Yudhishthira the emperor of the whole world. It is the free will within Yudhishthir to accept it or reject it. It is the will of the Lord to put Arjuna in misery. It is the free will of Arjuna to accept that misery and fight, or to renounce and go away from the battlefield. So, in this case, we see that Uddhava is mentioning that it was Lord's free will. This is very difficult to understand. Only a great devotee like Uddhava can know the heart of Krishna. We see this in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. When Rupa Goswami wrote that verse of how Krishna and the gopis, they interact with each other and how they have love towards each other, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, how does he know my heart? Nobody knows my heart. How is that Rupa Goswami knows my heart? And he has written this beautiful shloka and he has just kept it on the roof of his hut. And I think it was Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, if I am not wrong. He said, Mahaprabhu, you have showered the entire mercy into his heart. Only by the will of Krishna we can understand Krishna. We cannot understand Krishna by our own efforts, austerity, 16 rounds, 192 rounds, 132 rounds. No. These are not shortcuts to know Krishna. To know Krishna, we should follow in the footsteps of a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, like the Acharyas. So here Krishna, thinking to himself, established Maharaj Yudhishthir in the position of supreme control of the world. He was the one who said, Yudhishthir, you will be controlling the world. Why? Because he wanted to show the world ideal administration. But Prabhu, if Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, why can't he sit on the throne himself and show the ideal administration? The Lord never does that. Because everybody will blame the Lord, saying that you are God, so you are taking naturally this position, you don't give chances to others. He established this not as Krishna. Even when he came as Lord Ramchandra, he did this. He was given the entire kingdom to administer. He gave it to his brother, Bharata. And Bharata, the devotee, when he ruled the kingdom, he said, I will not be ruling the kingdom, but the Padukas of Lord Ramchandra will rule Ayodhya, Kosal Naresh. Such great was the Lord's Padukas being worshipped, not because that the Padukas were great, but because Bharata was worshipping it. The devotee was taking care of the Lord's paraphernalia in such a way that in the 14 years that Lord Ramchandra, Lakshman and Sita was in the forest, there was not even one blemish which happened in Ayodhya. Not even one fault. The same cannot be said for Ram Rajya. When Lord Rama came back and he started ruling the kingdom, everybody started accusing about Sita's character, due to which he had to banish her. So the Acharyas write, such great is devotees' administration of the Lord's paraphernalia. The kingdom is given by none other than the Lord. And Bharata took care of it so nicely under the rule of the Padukas that not even one complaint was raised during that reign of 14 years. But when Lord Rama himself, he was ruling the kingdom, the blame came upon Rama itself for accepting Mother Sita, though it was a false claim. But still, the complaint came. So sometimes the Lord wishes that his devotees are more perfect in their administrations. So here the Lord is allowing Yudhishthira to sit on the throne and show the ideal path of administration, ideal path of the kings. What did he do next? Let's go to the next verse. This verse doesn't have a purport. But this sanchintya, thus thinking to himself, is very, very important, and we will see this same repetitiveness in the next verse. The same theme is getting repeated. Uttarayam dritapuror vamshas sadva abhimanyuna savai dhrauni astra samplusta punar bhagavata dhritaha. So let's read the translation and
Yes,
the
Prabhu.
purport.
The embryo of Puru's descendant, begotten by the great hero Abhimanyu in the womb of Uttara, his wife, was burned by the weapon of the son of Drona, but later he was again protected by the Lord. The
Jai.
embryonic body of Parikshit, which was in the formation after Uttara's pregnancy by Abhimanyu, the great hero, was burned by the Brahmastra of Ashwatthama. But a second body was given by the Lord within the womb, and thus the descendant of Puru was saved. This incident is a direct proof that a body and a living entity, the spiritual spark, are different. When the living entity takes shelter in the womb of a woman, though the injection of the semen of a man, there is an emulsification of the man's and woman's discharges, and thus a body is formed and size of the body is formed the size of a pea, gradually developing into a complete body. But if the developing embryo is destroyed in some way or other, the living entity has to take shelter in another body or in the womb of another woman. The particular living entity who was selected by the descendant of Maharaj Puru or the Pandavas was not an ordinary living entity, and by the superior will of the Lord, he was destined to be the successor to Maharaj Yudhishthira. Therefore, when Ashwatthama destroyed the embryo of Maharaj Parikshit, the Lord, by his own internal potency, entered into the womb of Uttara by his plenary portion just to give audience to the word, to the would-be Maharaj Parikshit, and who was in great danger. By his appearance within the womb, the Lord encouraged the child and gave him complete protection in a new body by his omnipotency. By his power of omnipresence, he was present both inside and outside of Uttara and other members of the Pandavas family. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. What a wonderful verse talking about the Lord's giving protection to Parikshit. So here the shloka mentions about how the embryo of Puru's descendant, that is Abhimanyu's wife Uttara, was pregnant at the time when Ashwatthama shot the arrow. Ashwatthama was very afraid. He was caught by Arjuna and Bhima for killing the 5 sons of the Pandavas. He was fleeing away. And he thought that if I am caught, I will be smashed to a pulp by Bhima. And fearing his own life, he released the Ashwatthama. He released the Brahmastra. And Ashwatthama, when he released the Brahmastra, he was thinking that I have killed the Pandavas, but there is only one child who is going to be born into the future, who is none other than Parikshit. So he released the Brahmastra aiming at the womb of Uttara. Now this is a very heinous crime. First of all, killing Kshatriya, killing somebody who is asleep is itself is a heinous crime. Second, raising a hand or raising a weapon against a woman is more heinous crime. Third, raising a hand or a weapon against a person who is not armed is also a heinous crime. In this case, Ashwatthama, after killing the sons of Pandavas who were sleeping, was trying to send a weapon against a woman who was unarmed, and on top of that she was pregnant. So can you imagine the amount of heinous crime that Ashwatthama was performing by this Brahmastra? And all this was happening under the watch of the Pandavas, Draupadi and Krishna himself. And we know Krishna's famous quote, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. He just said that couple of days before in Bhagavad Gita in the battlefield. And in that same battlefield, now Uttara is coming running. Raksha Raksha Mahabaho. Please help me. Krishna, Vasudeva, please help me. This great heat is coming my way. This Brahmastra is going to kill this child. Please rescue me. So in the womb of Uttara, who was wife of Abhimanyu, the child was getting the heat from the Brahmastra and his entire body was burnt. Even if we have a fully grown body and we come in contact with heat, when that heat touches our body, we get burnt, we are in great discomfort. But we are talking about an embryo whose skin is not even formed properly, whose body is not formed properly. And it is not the heat from a flare or a flame. It is a heat of Brahmastra, the ultimate weapon which can destroy the entire cosmic universe. It can destroy the whole world. It is that powerful. That heat is burning the child, the embryo. And who protected it? Krishna. Krishna at that same time, while he was standing next to Uttara, he was standing amongst Pandavas, he entered the womb of Uttara. So did Krishna vanish in front of Pandavas? No, Krishna was standing still there. But Krishna was simultaneously present in the womb of Uttara. Krishna was present in the heart of Uttara. Krishna was present in the heart of Parikshit. and Krishna was in the womb. So Uttara is such a great devotee. She was carrying the Lord thrice. It's the same Paramatma, but she was carrying the Lord thrice. She was carrying it in her heart. She was carrying it in Parikshit's heart. And the Lord himself was present in her womb. Such glory is her womb. Such glorious is Uttara. Can you imagine the Lord present thrice? Of course, Paramatma is the same. We cannot say thrice. Twice is the right way to say. Paramatma in the heart of Uttara and Paramatma in the heart of Parikshit is the same. And the Lord himself appeared in the womb of the size of a thumb. Now, this might seem very, very astonishing. But Acharyas say this is not very astonishing. You know what is astonishing? The astonishing fact is, this is what Srila Prabhupada writes. What does Prabhupada write? Prabhupada writes that when the living entity is completely bereft of the body, then also the person doesn't die. So this means that there is a proof that we are not this body, we are a spirit soul. And Krishna immediately gave a second body to Parikshit. So that means the effect of the first, the Brahmastra which was thrown was effective. This incident is the direct proof that the body and the living entity, the spark, are different. Srila Prabhupada is utilizing this pastime to indicate that we are not this body. And when the body is lost, one has to take shelter of another body to develop this body. And here, Parikshit did not go to a different womb. Parikshit did not go into the womb of an animal. Who gave him the second body? The Lord himself gave him the second body. So this particular living being who was selected to be the descendant of Maharaj Puru was not an ordinary living entity. Hence we should understand that Parikshit was given personally the second body by the Lord and was protected by the Lord. Why? Why this special criteria only for Parikshit? The superior will of the Lord. The Lord had decided that this boy who is coming from the womb of Uttara, Parikshit, will be the one who will take care of the whole world. This is Krishna's wish. This is Krishna's superior will. Srila Prabhupada is very careful in writing each and every word. He doesn't write it's the will of the Lord. He says it's the superior will. Why does he add this word superior in between? We all have our will. We wish something, but sometimes Krishna's wish happens more than our wish. So that is why it is superior. No. In this particular case, Krishna, before even the Brahmastra was thrown to Parikshit Maharaj by Ashwathama, it was Krishna's will that Abhimanyu's son will reign the whole world. Parikshit will be the future generation of the Pandavas. Krishna had already thought about this. And whatever Krishna decides, it should happen. And it should happen in a very easy way. But here is where Srimad Bhagavatam is opening our eyes. Even though Krishna thought that this will be the way it will happen, that Parikshit Maharaj will come out from the womb of Uttara and he will rule the kingdom, there were detractors to this plan. There were people who did not want this plan to succeed. Now imagine, many times devotees come to us and tell us, Prabhu, this was my plan. It did not go as per plan. Why is Krishna doing this? Krishna should tell this verse. Hello, look, it was my plan also. That Uttara son was supposed to be the king and Ashwathama had a different plan. Even my will, my plan was getting detracted by Ashwathama. But this is what Srila Prabhupada's glory is. He uses the word superior will. But when Krishna's plan is detracted or Krishna's plan is moved away, Krishna will intervene and ensure that Krishna's plan is always on track. So it was the superior will of Krishna that he, even though the Ashwatthama arrow of Brahmastra was trying to foil the plan of Krishna, Krishna personally intervened. Why did Krishna intervene? What is the reason that Krishna's intervention? Is it to protect his will? No, because one devotee, two devotees, 5 devotees, 10 devotees were involved in this process. Everybody was looking at Krishna to protect. Kunti was looking at Krishna to protect her grandson, grandson. Uttara was looking at Krishna to protect her son. Arjuna was looking at Krishna to protect his grandson. Draupadi was understanding the pain of Uttara and looking at Krishna to protect the grandson. So in this way, everybody was looking at Krishna and they were having tears of expectation that Krishna, please protect us. How can Krishna say no to devotees? Krishna always protects. So just like in the previous verse, it is written that Yudhishthir Maharaj was supposed to be ruling the kingdom and in the administration of piety. Similarly, Krishna had the plan for Parikshit Maharaj as well. So through his internal potency, he protected Parikshit, and hence he is known as Parikshit, one who was completely protected. He had to go through this pariksha, this exam of near-death experience, NDE. And who protected it? Krishna. He had the vision of the Lord right in the womb. And he was completely surrendered. And what did the Lord do? So we all think about this pastime in this way. That the heat was there and the body was burned. Krishna suddenly entered the womb. And he gave another body. Parikshit was saved. And Parikshit is eternally indebted to Krishna. But actually there are many small things which we should understand. The womb is not the most nicest place to go. Even the living entity would not like to go into a place where one is put upside down, connected via an umbilical cord, where there is pus, urine, gastric juices, worms, krimis, all of them attacking the baby, eating their skin. And it's a nasty place. It's such a small place. It's not a very nice place to be. Even for the jivas, it's not the nice place to be. What to speak about the Supreme Lord? But the Lord went into those ghastly places as well, because He is pure. He is really pure. Nothing can happen to the Lord. He is completely pure. So He went even into that ghastly womb. And we think He just gave another body. No, but Srila Prabhupada writes 2-3 more sentences which gives much solace to the heart for a devotee. It's not that Krishna's interactions with the devotees are just a minute spark. Okay, Krishna came, Krishna gave the body, Krishna left. No, Prabhupada writes here, by His appearance within the womb, the Lord encouraged the child. That means there were conversations. And gave him complete protection. So these are two different things. Krishna came, Krishna protected is all what we glorify. But let's also talk about encourage the child. How do you encourage a child? He might be crying, he might be in pain, but there was interaction. So all those people who speak about Krishna is impersonal, they focus on the protection form of the Lord. But those who are personalized worshippers of the Lord and His personal beauty, they will be so much attracted not towards His protection, but towards His encouragement to the child. He encouraged the child. He said, don't worry. You got a new body. And He said, please live on. Did He communicate? Were there verses? Those are not known. Sometimes Krishna's smile can communicate everything. So Krishna's presence, Krishna's smile, it encouraged the child. And that smile That presence gave complete protection. What gives protection to the Lord? The Lord needs no protection. The Lord can protect himself. But actual protection to the Lord is given by devotees. Prabhu, what are you saying? We need protection from the Lord. We need protection to be given by the Lord. When we are in difficulty, we pray to the Lord to give us protection. How is the Lord protected? Generally, the Lord need not need any protection. He is God. He is supremely powerful. Why does he need protection? But the Lord says, I need protection, and I get protection by the blessings of Yashoda Maiya, by the blessings of great alvars like Nammalvar, by the blessings of many devotees who stay in and around the temple. There is a good story where in 1150 CE, there was a king named as Veera Sundara Brahmarayan. He was a South Indian Chola king. And he wanted to construct a big compound wall or a big wall around Srirangam temple. And this compound wall had to be constructed. If you have ever been to Srirangam, you will see that the walls are 7, 8, 10 feet tall. One, it was to keep away the invaders. And second, it was to also give protection to the monument and the temple. So while he was constructing this wall, he found that there was a devotee's house which was falling in the way. The name of the devotee, if my memory is correct, is called as Pillai Alvan. And this devotee was a very ardent devotee of Lord Ranganath. He used to come every day to the Ranganath temple and used to call Ranganath with so much of love, as if there was a lot of parental love. And he used to tell Ranganath, may you live quite long. The same prayers of Nammalvar. Palland, Palland, Pallairatand, Palagodi Nurahiram, Rindon Manivanna. Where this verse says that, may Lord you live for millions and millions of years. Let nobody who is seeing you, let their evil eye fall on you. Can any evil eye fall on the Lord's? Can Lord Ranganath have an evil eye from the Jivatmas? No, it is not possible. It is spiritually impossible. But still a devotee feels, let there be no evil eye on you, Krishna. And Krishna feels completely protected. Yashoda Maiya in Krishna book, she mentions when Trinavarta picked him up and then kept him down, or Chakdasuras happened, she touches each and every body limb and prays to the different lordships to protect Krishna. These are the prayers which protect Krishna. So the Lord is also protected. Such is the beautiful interaction between the Lord and his devotees. And what is astonishing is, when the Pandavas looked around, Krishna was right there next to them in the chariot. When Uttara saw, Krishna was right there outside. And Krishna could feel, and Uttara could feel Krishna within her also inside the womb. So he was simultaneously omnipresent everywhere. He was present both inside and outside of Uttara. And he was also present amongst the members of the Pandava family. So Krishna was everywhere. They couldn't understand, oh, Krishna is here. No, Krishna is protecting there. Or at the same time, Krishna is in the heart of Uttara. All these explain this beautiful pastime. Same like Prahlad Maharaj. He was praying to Nrsimha Dev. And when Hiranyakashipu asked, where is your Hari? He said, Hari is in the word H-A-R-I. Hari is in you also, Baba. Hari is in me as well. Hari is sitting in your heart. Who is giving you these thoughts? Hari is also in my heart. And at that time, Hiranyakashipu thought, I need to smash his head with the mace. And he lifted his mace. And where was Hari? He was outside as well, in the pillar. He was sharpening his nails. He was waiting to come out just to protect Prahlad. He was right there inside his heart, protecting him, giving him instructions, making him speak. And he was outside as well. And this is what we sing. Bahir Nasingmo Hridaye Nashinga. What do we sing? Bahir Nashinga. He's there outside. And Hridaye Nashinga. He's there inside as well. Yato Yato Yami Tato Nashinga. And that's what Srila Prabhupada is. He was present both inside and outside of Uttara and other members of the Pandava family. So, my dear devotees, the biggest takeaway in this verse is that Krishna's will also had people who wanted to foil the plan of Krishna. So when our plans get foiled, let us remember this verse. Even Krishna's plan was tried to be foiled. Krishna's plan was tried to be destroyed. So second, even if the plan of Krishna was tried to be foiled, Krishna had protected it. So Krishna will always protect his devotees. Number 3, there is encouragement also in protection. This encouragement is seen in this verse. And let us understand that we might see Krishna right outside us, but his invisibility and his omnipresence is working in many ways. So there are in many ways Krishna helps his devotees through his invisible hand. Let us not think that Krishna has to help in this manner only. Let us not stereotype, conditionalize Krishna's help. Krishna can help us in many different ways as he wishes. So in this way, this beautiful pastime, this verse is a great hope. In fact, any pregnant mothers, anybody in our congregation or anybody who in the general masses, when they come and say bless the child, I tell them to go and read this chapter again and again of how Krishna protects. Throughout their pregnancy, if they read this chapter of how Krishna protected Parikshit Maharaj, all the mothers get very highly energized and they go with a lot of fearlessness that Krishna is there. While they deliver the baby, they remember Krishna is there. Krishna is protecting. What else can we give as protection? Medical science? No. A husband's touch? No. A nurse's touch? No. All these things are there. But the ultimate protection is Krishna. So if your mother gets to know that come what may happen in the maternity ward, Krishna is always protecting. Because I read these Bhagavatam. And every day she reads how Krishna protected. 8 to 10 verses in the chapter, the first canto. She reads how Krishna came into the womb when Uttara said. I even remember one of the devotees, when the child was coming out of the womb, she said the same prayers of Uttara. Such glorious Srimad Bhagavatam being spoken even at the time of highest pain. This is success of life. And we should always endeavor to give Krishna. So there will be many people, many couples who will get pregnant and others, mothers. We should encourage them to read this pastime. Because always mothers are fearful what will happen. So we should give Bhagavatam in this way. So here we read Krishna's pastime outside of Vrindavan. Let's go ahead. Ayajayad dharma sutam ashwamedas tribhir vibhuh sopikshamam anujay rakshan remek krishnam anuvratah. Can somebody read the translation?
Sure, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Translation. The Supreme Lord induced the son of Dharma to perform 3 hour sacrifices, and Maharaja Yudhishthira, constantly following Krishna, the personality of Godhead, protected and enjoyed the earth, assisted by his young brothers. Purport. Maharaja Yudhishthira was the ideal monarchical representative on the earth because he was a constant follower of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. As stated in Vedas, Ishopanishad, the Lord is the proprietor of the entire manifested cosmic creation, which presents a chance for the conditioned souls to revive their eternal relationship with the Lord and thus go back to Godhead back home. The old system of the material world is arranged with that program and plan. Anyone who violates the plan is punished by the law of nature, which is acting by the direction of the Supreme Lord. Maharaja Yudhishthira was installed on the throne of the earth as a representative of the Lord. The king is always expected to be the representative of the Lord. Perfectly, monarchy necessitates representation of the supreme will of the Lord. And Maharaja Yudhishthira was the ideal monarch on his supreme principle. Both the king and the subjects were happy in the discharge of worldly duties, and thus protection of the citizens and enjoyment of natural life with full cooperation of material nature followed in the reign of Maharaja Yudhishthira and his worthy descendants like Maharaja Parikshit. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhu. So this is very wonderful. So we see that Maharaj Yudhishthir was told to perform the 3 sacrifices. And what are the 3 sacrifices that he was told to perform? These 3 Ashwamedha Yajna to be performed so that he can rule over the kingdom. And Krishna was always protecting none other than Yudhishthir Maharaj. So here Srila Prabhupada mentions a very beautiful thing, and what is that? He says that Maharaj Yudhishthir was installed on the throne of the earth as a representative of the Lord. This is very important. The Lord is the ultimate king of the entire world, entire cosmic manifestation. All other kings are dasas, servants. I come from the world of Travancore. My native place is Tiruvananthapuram. And it was previously called as Travancore, the kingdom of Travancore. And the kingdom of Travancore had their personal altar, which is none other than the Padmanabha Swami temple in southern part of India, in Trivandrum, in Tiruvananthapuram, where the Lord is lying down as Lord Padmanabha, 18 feet long. And it was the personal altar. And if some of you have been, somebody said that they are visiting all the Chennai temples and southern part of India, I would encourage them to go to also Padmanabha Swami temple in Tiruvananthapuram. And when you go and see the Lord, you will be standing on a single block of stone. In Malayalam, it is called as Vattakkal Mandapam, a mandapa or a mandap, which is created by a single stone. It is a very large piece of stone. Nobody is allowed to pay obeisances on the stone, sit on that stone. They can only stand on that stone and see the Divya Vigraha of the Lord. Why? Because once when Tipu Sultan had come and attacked the kingdom of Travancore, the king of Travancore did not have a lot of military. He sent his lot of military to battle against the Battle of Colashal in Kasargod. This is history. To fight the Portuguese, I guess. So he had stationed a lot of his military in the northern part of Kerala. By that time, the Mysore king Tipu had attacked Padmanabha, knowing that there is a lot of gold. Of course, we know that. Nowadays, we know there is a lot of gold in Padmanabha Swami temple. However, so Tipu had attacked, and at that time, the king said, I do not have much of military with me. But why am I supposed to worry? I am just your servant. You are the king, Padmanabha. You are actually the king. So he took the sword and he kept it on that stone. And he said, I sacrifice my entire kingdom. Not sacrifice. I give the kingdom to you. You are the king, Padmanabha. You are ruling the kingdom. And I am just a Padmanabha Datsa. I am just a servant. This is the king speaking. And he kept the chariot of Lord Padmanabha ahead, Nrsimhadev ahead, and Krishna ahead, completely armored. And having the armor, the chariot, the saranga bow, the discus, the deity is going for war. And it is said that Tipu was routed from the Kerala kingdom by a very meager army. So even those streets where Tipu could not cross is even today known as Tipu Street in Thiruvananthapuram. So even today, nobody is allowed to pay obeisances, because whatever you pay obeisances there are considered as Lord's property. Why am I saying this? This is the right mood of a king, that he is a servant of the Lord, a representative of the Lord. Maharaj Yudhishthir was installed on the throne of the earth as a representative of the Lord. And what is expected out of the king? To be always be the representative of the Lord. Many people today say democracy is better. Democracy means one person is not asked the story. One person is not asked that what is the rule of the world. Democracy means everybody is asked an opinion. They are supposed to cast a ballot. They are supposed to elect their leaders. However, monarchical means the king decides and everybody has to follow. So many people feel democracy is much better than monarchical system. But Srila Prabhupada here is mentioning about monarchy. How the monarchical kingdom is great. If you go and say this in Kali Yuga, nobody will accept. They will say, Prabhuji, India is a democratic country and this is great. Why are you suggesting otherwise? We should not be thinking like this. We should be thinking not about monarchy, we should be thinking about democracy. But is our current democracy really democracy? Is our current thinking really democratic? We have to see none other than where we see this. We see this in Ramayana. What do we see in Ramayana? We see how Dasharatha took a decision. When Dasharatha found that there was a white hare which was whispering in his ears that it's time to retire, give the kingdom to Rama, it was Dasharatha's decision, monarchical decision, that let me go and make Rama the heir apparent. Did he do that? No. Valmiki Ramayana says that Dasharatha immediately called all his ministers and took their opinion. Look, Dasharatha wanted to make Rama the heir apparent, but he did not take a decision. He asked the council of his ministers. The minister said, why don't you ask the people of Ayodhya also? And Dasharatha went to the people of Ayodhya and he asked this question. What do you think? He is Dasharatha, the father of Lord Ramchandra. He is asking Ayodhya Vasis, I have this thought. I am getting old. I want to make Rama the heir apparent. What is your opinion? And all the people said, Ramam Chhatravartananam. Saying, we were Ichha Mohi Aham Prarthi. He says, we can only desire Dasharatha. We are just common people. We are your Praja. We are not Raja. Ichha Mohi. We can wish for. Ichha Mohi, he says. We can only wish for. We cannot dictate. Ichha Mohi Mahabahum Raghuviram Mahabalam Gajena Mahata Yantam Ramam Chhatravartananam. 2:22. In Ayodhya Kanda, 2nd verse, Sarga, 22nd verse. It's very easy to remember. 2:22. Ichha Mohi Mahabahum. All of us want to see Rama. How? Ichha Mahabahum. He has long arms. Raghuvira Mahabalam. And he is Raghuvira. He has got great strength. But we only desire. What do you desire? Gajena Mahata Yantam. He is sitting on the great elephant. And this great elephant is the royal elephant. And what is on top of him? Ramam Chhatra Vritananam. And he has this white umbrella, the royal umbrella on top of his head. So this is what we desire. But this is just our desire, Dasharatha. We cannot actually say that we want him to be the king. This is our desire. Look at this. This is monarchical government. Dasharatha is running a monarchy. But he is asking this question to everyone, what do you think? This is democracy. And this is how ideally, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here, perfect monarchy necessitates representation of the supreme will of the Lord, and Maharaj Yudhishthira was the ideal monarch on the supreme principle. This means that Yudhishthira took the opinions of others. So the monarchy in the earlier times was the right democracy. And what about democracy now? There is one family which is trying to rule the whole kingdom. There is no question asked to the real people. But this is democracy. So democracy today is in the sight of capitalist monarchy. But monarchy of yesterday was the true democracy. I hope it makes sense. पिछले जमाने का जो राजकाज था वो असली में गणतंत्र था, और अभी का जो गणतंत्र है वो राजकाज के समान है जिसमें कोई गणतंत्रता नहीं है. There is no democracy in the current democratic world. In fact, the earlier monarchic kingdom had more of democracy. And everything is Krishna's. Isha vasyam idam sarvam yat kincham jagatam jagat. And this is how Krishna perfected. And he kept Yudhishthira Maharaj on the throne. We'll read the last verse. I know I always do not do justice to all the verses, but we'll read the last verse for today. Bhagavan api vishwatma lokaveda patanugaha kamansi sevadavyatyam ashakta sankyam astitaha. Anybody wants to read the translation?
Krishna.
Yes.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Simultaneously, the personality of Godhead enjoyed life in the city of Dwarka, strictly in conformity with the Vedic customs of society. He was situated in detachment and knowledge, as enunciated by Sankhya system of philosophy. Purport. While Maharaja Yudhishthira was the emperor of the earth, Lord Sri Krishna was the king of Dwarka and was known as Dwarkadish. Like other subordinate kings, he was under the regime of Maharaja Yudhishthira. Although Lord Sri Krishna is the supreme emperor of the entire creation, while he was on this earth, he never violated the principles of the Vedic injunctions, because they are the guide for human life. Regulated human life according to the Vedic principles, which are based on the system of knowledge called Sankhya philosophy, is the real way of enjoyment of the necessities of life. Without such knowledge, detachments and custom, the so-called human civilization is more than an animal society of eat, drink, be merry and enjoy. The Lord was acting freely as he willed, yet by his practical example, he taught not to lead a life which goes against the principles of detachment and knowledge. Attainment of knowledge and detachment, as very elaborately discussed in the Sankhya philosophy, is real perfection of life. Knowledge means to know that the mission of human form of life is to end all the miseries of material existence, and that is in spite of having to fulfill the bodily necessities in a regulated way. One must be detached from such animal life. Fulfilling the demands of the body is animal life, and fulfilling the mission of the spirit soul is the human mission. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada gives a wonderful definition of what's knowledge. But before that, he explains how Krishna was living as Dwarkadish under the rule of Yudhishthira Maharaj. So Krishna is ready to give up his kingdom or give up his superiority for to be conquered by the devotees. So this is Aham Bhakta Paradhinaha. He is ready to be serving the devotees. He doesn't want to be the Lord of the Lords. He is completely happy as long as Yudhishthir Maharaj is the emperor of the earth. And Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, but still he is living in a very detached way, in full of knowledge. Why? Because he is showcasing us. He is becoming a role example of how we should live our life, how we should lead our life. Knowledge means that we understand what are the material. Srila Prabhupada writes here very nice definition. Knowledge means to end all miseries of material existence. But while you are ending your material existence, you still need some bodily necessities. That, in spite of having to fulfill the bodily necessities, this is where many devotees go wrong. Many people, in the flare of renunciation, they think money is excess, job is excess, family is excess, and they leave everything and they say we should only think about Krishna, and through that renunciation we should come out of material existence. But Prabhupada doesn't say that here. Prabhupada mentions that the knowledge means to end all miseries of material existence, but one has to fulfill his bodily necessities. But one has to fulfill the bodily necessities not in an irregulated, unregulated way, in a very regulated manner. And that is intelligence. So knowledge is there. Knowledge is to move away from material miseries coming out of material existence and to focus ourselves from being an animalistic life, focusing ourselves to be living a spiritual life. This is knowledge. But how do you act on knowledge? That is intelligence. And how do we get that intelligence? When we differentiate between what is spirit and what is material. Intelligence means to differentiate between spirit and matter. So when we know what is favoring Krishna and what is unfavorable to Krishna, what is material and what is spiritual, we are acting in a very intelligent way on the knowledge that is given to us. So Krishna actually showcased this while living in Dwarka. He had 16,108 wives, but he was completely detached. He was not attached like a common man. He had 10 kids from each wife, but he still was detached. So in this way, this is what Sankhya philosophy tells us. And Krishna lived and executed this principle. So this is what we learn today, that how Krishna protected Parikshit, how Krishna's superior will is everything, and Uddhava is mentioning now entered Dwarka and established him as the Dwarkadish. So maybe in the coming weeks we will see more of this Dwarka Leela by other speakers. I thank each and everyone for their presence today for exactly in an hour. If there are any questions, comments, clarifications, critiques, feedback, we can discuss. Yadatra skalitam kinchit vidhvam sat purayantu tat yadatra saushtubam kinchit tadguror evamenahi. If there are any part of this presentation or this lecture which was very relishable to you, which was very wonderful, which gave you a lot of insight, then all of that goes to my Guru and Srila Prabhupada's purports. None of them go to me. However, I'm sure as a Jiva there would be many mistakes which would have been committed in this lecture. All those mistakes are truly mine, and none of them go to my Gurus or anybody else. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If there are any comments, questions, clarifications, we can discuss. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, for the first time, this line, he was under the regime of Maharaj Yudhishthir. थोड़ा वो समझ मतलब उतना नहीं वो आ रहा कि भाई we have seen this for the first time.
Yeah. So Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Under his instruction, everything in the cosmos works. But administratively, Hastinapur, Delhi, was the capital of the whole world. And Dwarka was paying taxes to Hastinapur. So Krishna was living in Dwarka. Though he's a family friend, he said, okay, your rule will apply over me as well. The policies that you make will apply over here as well. The taxes will apply here also as well. So the Acharyas mention in a very funny way. Between Hastinapur and Dwarka, the distance is 1,000 miles. But there was one trade which used to happen between those two places in an instant, which was the trade of saris. Hastinapur and Dwarka, 1,000 miles, but the sale of saris took one instant, which is him giving saris to Draupadi, which happened from Dwarka to Hastinapur in an instant, more faster than Amazon Prime, Noon Express. So, yes, so Krishna accepted the administration of Yudhishthir Maharaj. He said, you be on the throne and I'll accept. Whatever is your administration, we will fall under it. Krishna need not do that, but Krishna did. Make sense?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent, Prabhu. Like always, a fantastic class. Thank you so much. Always wonderful to hear you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for the invite.
You
Thank you for the
blend that
kind words.
theory and the examples and the practicality so very well. It's just excellent to hear you. Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna,
much.
Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Now, Prabhu, I have one question.
Yes, Amrit Madhu.
On the last shloka, that is number 3319,
Hmm.
it is that the Lord was situated in detachment and knowledge as in a Sankhya system of philosophy. So, throw some light on this.
So the Lord exhibited these philosophies. The Lord is always renunciation. Out of the 6 qualities of the Lord, one of the quality is He's always renunciated. He's always renounced. Vai samagrasya sarvasya bija sajjasya. Out of the 6 qualities that Parashar Bhatta mentions, Sage Parashar mentions, one of the quality of the Lord is He's renounced. He is detached. He is all fame, all beauty, all strength, all knowledge. All of these are in full, but still he is renounced. So Krishna exhibited this quality that though he has 16,108 wives, he has this great palace, he has the entire Dwarkadish, but he lived his life in a very regulated way. He used to wake up in Brahma Muhurta and he used to regulate in such a way that dharmic principles were followed. So Krishna was showing the example of ideal living for all grihasthas. So the instructions that Krishna gave and the Krishna gave, those instructions are for us to follow. The way Lord Ramchandra lived, the way how he showcased, that is for us to follow. So here Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that how Krishna said that eating, drinking, enjoying, that is not the core of human life. Human life is meant for spiritual realization. And if we are just eating, sleeping, making merry, then that is animalistic life. And this is the pure knowledge. So like this, he never violated any Vedic injunctions. He always followed the Vedas. As the Vedic administration would mention, he followed all the principles of administration. And this is not needed for Krishna. Krishna need not do this, but he showcased it for the world. Because people will ask question, you are worshipping Krishna, what did Krishna do in Dwarka? So he actually lived by the philosophies which are based on the Sankhya philosophy. Means you enjoy the necessities of life, but you do not sacrifice the spiritual goal on it. Make sense?
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, you mentioned that Rupa Goswami knew or described the heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through a shloka. What is that shloka? Prabhuji, would you please share that shloka?
Yeah, I'll share it in the group. It's a shloka that he wrote. about the Brajabadhus, the Vrindavan Vasis. I'll share it in the group.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for the wonderful class.
Thank you.
Hari
Hare
Bol.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone. Is there any other question for Prabhuji?
No problem.
Great. Prabhu, thanks a lot. Please
Thank
keep
you.
coming.
Hare Krishna.
1 month is too long a time for us to wait for you.
I'll try.
Okay, Prabhu.
Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Let's chant Vaishnav Pranam mantra before we leave. Vanchat tarubhyascha kripa
Kripa
sindhubhya
sindhu
eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namah.
Anantapurti Vaishnavrinda ki Jai Shri
Ki Jai.
Prabhupada ki Jai.
Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you so
Krishna.
much, Prabhu. Prabhu,
Thank
I
you.
will call you a little later.
Yes, sure. Okay. Haribol.
Hare Krishna.